let's write the equation of the line with the intercept of -4, that's the x-intercept, by the way, of -4, and the y-intercept of -2 in slope-intercept form. Again, write the equation of the line with the x-intercept of -4 and the y-intercept of -2, all in slope-intercept form. That's a mouthful, all those intercepts. Well, let's see what's going on with this problem, all right? First of all, what we understand is that an intercept is where a line crosses an axis, whether it crosses the x-axis or the y-axis. In fact, it doesn't have to be a line, it could be a curve also, all right? But in this case, it's a line, all right? So we're looking for the equation of the line with an x-intercept of -4. Now what that tells me is that I have a point, and I need to name that point. I'm going to call it -4, 0. That's the x-intercept, because that's where it crosses the x-line, which means y has no room to go up or down, all right? So there you go. It's at y equals 0 and x is -4. Let's move on to the other one there. Y-intercept allows us to pick up y at -2, and we have a nice good old whopping 0 for the x there. So it's 2 points. It's 2 points. Now you say, Ernie, we're looking for slope-intercept form. Let's talk about that part also, because once we translate these intercepts to points, this is an easy problem. Very easy problem. You say, good, because it looked like it had a lot of words in it. It does, doesn't it? 4 lines there, but it's really very straightforward. So slope-intercept form, by the way, what is slope-intercept form? It is the y equals mx plus b business, all right? And by the way, the m is the slope. But don't forget, this is the y-intercept. Now caution and slow down just a little bit right there, because you know what? We already have a y-intercept given to us. So usually it's b that we're looking for. We've got b. This time what we need to do is figure out what is our slope. What is the slope? So let's come over here and let's figure out what the slope is, and then we're going to put our results together. You say, well, Ernie, what's -4 and 0 about? It's going to help us find the slope, all right? So let's go back to our slope formula, folks. It's going to be y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. There we are, all right? And notice what we've got for coordinates. I got 0, -2, and I've got -4, 0. So this is kind of nice because there are a lot of zeros in there. When you subtract zeros, they're usually pretty easy to deal with. Or when you subtract from 0, it's still pretty easy to deal with. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. I'm going to start with -2 minus 0, all right? Because those are my y values. Everybody agreeable? Of course you are, all right? So let's put -2 minus 0. I'm going to work it backwards here. So in other words, when I start going -2 to 0, I've got to keep it up. So I've got to go 0 minus that -4. Now notice it's a -4. I've got to subtract. So it's like adding a positive there. It's like adding a +4. So what I'm seeing, what you're seeing, I hope, it looks to be that we've got a -2 in the numerator, a +4 in the denominator. Now that is going to reduce to a -1/2. Again, that's slope. That's slope. You say, well, what about that intercept? Well, what about that intercept? Guess what? It's at -2. It's at -2. So let's see what it's going to do for us. Put it together. If I can let the bottom drop out there, guys, if you'll take that out for me just a second. We got, there we go, y equals slope, -1/2. Put an x with it, and then you got the -2 for your y-intercept. Very straightforward, very straightforward. Now, some of you don't believe me. Let's go to the graphing calculator. Let's see what we've got, all right? We'll go right ahead and put in a -1/2, which means 1 divided by 2, by the way, folks. That's how we write them. Put an x attached to that, and we'll put our big minus. Go to the minus on that, subtract, and put a 2 there. Let's see what happens. And let's graph. There goes the graph. Well, you know what? Take a look at that. It's a negative slope, that's for sure. And let's trace a little bit. Trace right there is 0, -2. Bang, that's where we wanted that intercept. We knew it was going to happen because we put that one in. The big question is, what happens at -4? Do we get a 0? We hope so. Let's put it in there and see with the trace function. Hit it and press enter. And you got -4, 0. So there is the equation of the straight line. Easy to check on the graphing calculator or on just good old grid graph paper. All right.
For more math help, visit TNLearn.org.